Hi Aries, this is your forecast for the month of September 2016. This is a general reading for Aries Sun, Aries Rising, or Aries Moon. If you have a different rising or moon sign, you might find watching those videos helpful or more informative for you. Please remember that these are general readings, and so they may not apply to everyone. If you would like a reading that is specific to you, please visit my website at thealchemistastrologer.com, provided on the link at the upper corner. If you have visited my site before, please clear your browser's cache to allow the schedule button to function properly. So Aries, this appears to be a very significant month for you. You have 3 major cards. So the first week of September, it appears that you're trying to create a balance of some sort. Now, maybe these are compatibility issues, or maybe you're trying to come to terms with some difference that you're having with another person. Maybe you're trying to reconcile that. You're trying to weigh, your options and come up with a balanced viewpoint. And timing could be an issue, issues of fairness, finding just the right mix with other people. Maybe you're involved in some collaborations with other people and you're trying to find, just the right mix. Some of you are dealing with issues that are connected to healing, whether that is physical or emotionally. And so this could be a period where you are maybe seeking forgiveness, or maybe you're forgiving other people. Maybe you're having to adapt to a situation. This is a period where you are urged, if you can, to compromise, to not be excessive, to be moderate in your approach. And this is going to work for you. So this could be a period this week where it's time for you to actually sit down with someone and have a really clear, open, honest discussion. And even if you're not on the same page with another person, or you can't seem to see eye to eye, this would be a time to put all of your issues out on the table anyway, to say the things that need to be said. And if you approach it in the proper way, you will be able to maintain that relationship without the other person feeling as if you're trying to alienate them or judge them. So this is a week for you to be open and honest, to clear the air. And in doing so, you will find a greater sense of peace. Now, for some of you, it's going to be difficult for you to find this right mix. And for you, you're going to stay stuck in situations that don't serve you. You're going to stay chained to people, environments that obviously are wrong for you. And somehow you're going to try to convince yourself that you're doing it for a good reason, or because of someone else, or for someone else. So if this week, if you're in a bad relationship, that relationship can become a really bad habit for you, something that you're doing out of convenience, and you're making an excuse for not making the most of yourself, for not pushing yourself as hard as you can, for taking yourself, your self-worth, your values, and your talents for granted. For some of you, again, this could be a week about physical healing. And so for you, you may find it difficult to relax, or you may have illnesses crop up that, sort of annoy you. Maybe you get some rashes, or maybe you have some congestion or a cold, or just something that saps your vitality. For some of you, your dreams are going to be very important, and you're going to find messages in your dreams. Even though some of the dreams you have may be difficult for you to understand. Dreams are difficult to interpret anyway. But there are messages for you in your dreams. This could be a period where it's hard for you to maintain a sense of focus. Maybe you get easily distracted. And so you need to understand that your intuition, may be running in high gear, but you could mistake your intuition. You may feel something that occurs to you impulsively. You may mistake that as intuition and act on it. And if you do, maybe you speak out of turn, or you say the wrong thing, or you say it in the wrong moment, or maybe you even on impulse make a purchase that cost you in such a way that you later regret it. Maybe you spend too much money. So for some of you, you are really dealing with some inner work. And so maybe you realize that you're harder on yourself. The standards that you are setting for yourself that may not be achievable, only you have set that. Other people aren't looking for you to meet that. Maybe you're being too demanding on yourself. Again, I feel like this is connected to maybe some dream that you have that you want to accomplish, some kind of aspiration. But for some of you, you're just being unrealistic. You're trying to find the right mix in order to manifest something that you want to happen. And so this is a week where, again, you may have to make some concessions. You may have to compromise. You may have to look at things from the other person's point of view. Be careful of making some misjudgments this week that are going to cause you to take some missteps that cost you through excessiveness or extravagance. Now, the second week of September, there's something going on. Well, there's either something going on or nothing going on. There could be some matters that are just kind of hanging in limbo. But this could be a week where you are changing your perspective about something, or maybe you're trying to change someone else's mind, or vice versa. But a new perspective is called for. Now, some of you may have experienced a reversal of some sort, or maybe, things were on the move and now they've slowed down. Things are just kind of hanging in limbo. You yourself could have decided that you want to take your time, that you want to, deal with something slowly. And again, you will need to be flexible. You will need to adapt to whatever situation it is that you're facing, because this could be a testing period for you. You may be learning a lesson. Again, you have 3 major cards. So this could be a very spiritual time for you, where you are having to make a sacrifice of some sort in order to obtain a higher goal. So some of you will have to surrender whatever it is that you had hoped to achieve or that you were holding on to. And you may have to surrender to an opposing point of view. This may be a time where you have to give up what your will wants, your ego needs. So this week, the more objective that you can remain about yourself, about other people, about situations, the more you stand to gain, because having a fresh and new perspective is going to clarify things for you. It's going to help you make sense of whatever it is that you're dealing with, and also make peace, particularly with the past, so that you can move on and move forward and reevaluate where you're trying to go in the future with a greater sense of purpose and greater clarity. So this week, you're going to have to be very patient, and you're going to have to push hard and persevere to stay focused on the goals you hope to achieve. Now, fortunately, you're able to make realistic decisions, and you can achieve your goals if you maintain a sense of peace and tranquility. Whatever is happening around you, try to stay detached and objective. And if you can do that, your spirit will not be broken. Even though maybe in the previous week you had to give in on some things, you had to make some concessions or some compromises for something that you were trying to do. Don't allow any setbacks or any delays that you encounter to make you feel discouraged, especially if you know that you've been putting in your best effort. Now, for some of you, whatever you're involved in, you may be making too many sacrifices. You may be, you may be in danger of being a martyr for no good reason because, you're not helping anybody. There's no value to it. And this is probably triggered by some kind of self-doubt that you have, falling back into old habits where you don't value yourself and you're taking the line of least resistance, even if it's not the best thing for you or the situation. And maybe you're frustrated and you don't really know how to deal with that frustration, and it's causing you to strike out at other people, even if they're not the people involved or the people whose fault it is. This could be a week where you find that you're having to tie up those loose ends, and each time you think you have one thing taken care of, something that you overlooked previously comes up in another situation. So maybe you're ready to move forward. Maybe you're ready to move in a better direction, but you are still falling back on those bad habits and self-defeatist attitudes. So this is a week where maintaining your composure and your objectivity is going to be challenged. So you could be trying to create, more personal power for yourself, or again, manifest your dreams. If you're just hanging in limbo, this could be saying, this is a time for you to take charge. Maybe you're holding yourself back and you're waiting for something to happen, and this may be a time where you need to move forward. Now, the third week of September, it appears that you have probably gained some clarity on a situation. You figured some things out. Maybe you have a brilliant idea that you're going to act on. Or maybe you're using your intellect to solve some kind of problem. Or maybe, again, in your dreams, maybe you're receiving some kind of divine inspiration. But there's a lot of mental force and strength of power for you this week. So you can use this to your advantage if you choose. Now, some of you, you have this. If you were waiting and trying to find the right mix, the right situation, what was good for you, and you were going over things, holding yourself back, trying to change your perspective, this could be a week where you have a new sense of determination and you're ready to apply that will. Maybe you're acting as an authority. But again, be careful about making sacrifices and going with decisions that actually work against you. Some of you may be overthinking a problem or an issue, or you're being destructive in how you are moving forward. Maybe you're overthinking things. Some of you may have issues of surgery or legal matters that need to be attended to. But this is a week where you're going to, again, gain some clarity, possibly through force. There may be arguments or aggression or the need to assert in some way. But just know that this is a week where there is the possibility, either way, of either winning or losing more than you had expected. So now, the last week of September, you have the Star card. And again, this is a card of hope and optimism. It's very future oriented, and you may be trying to develop confidence in yourself and trusting that everything is going to turn out as it should. Maybe, given what has occurred in the weeks prior, you feel this sense of comfort or emotional renewal. Maybe you feel protected in some way. Maybe you're working on some kind of special talent, or you're trying to expand yourself in some way. Maybe the previous week had to do with some intellectual pursuit of yours. But this is a card that says you may be receiving help, and help from various sources, help from above. Maybe again, this is an emphasis on unveiling a truth. This card is about getting, investigating the mystery or the enigma of something. And so some of you may be attempting to solve some kind of problem, or you're discovering a secret of some sort. There could be something mysterious going on. Now, for some of you, maybe you're dealing with young women. There's a young woman in your life. But this card is calling for you to have faith and to know that a higher power is at work in your situation. So maybe this week you feel, again, a sense of rejuvenation, a sense of renewal. And you know that at this point, hope is what's driving everything. It's what's motivating you. It's your faith, because you know that there's some big changes occurring. There's some personal transformation and growth taking place for you. This week you could be very intuitive, and you could have a very strong link with other people. So this would be a moment for you to get in touch with your inner self and listen to that intuition and allow it to guide you. Perhaps you've been facing some difficult situations, some setbacks, and you've had to confront some truths or some reality that was difficult, and it's your faith that's having to carry you through that. But this is also an opportunity. It's giving you the chance to see what you're made of, to rise to your personal best. So whatever is happening for you, you will have to believe that there is a positive reason behind it, that there is a meaning behind the madness, and that this is really a challenge for you to rise to an occasion. And you should see it as that rather than something that is happening to you, some kind of a no-win situation. Maybe your emotions take over you, and you, again, it's possible that you allow that to overrule your intuition, or you mistake that for your intuition. But this week you're going to have faith, whether that's in yourself, that other people are going to come through, or that something you have believed in the past. That is going to be tested. And so you're going to need to, again, open yourself up to fresh possibilities, change your perspective, and in which case, if you're able to do that, your faith is going to be rewarded, even though it may not show up for you in quite the way you had envisioned it. Now, maybe these issues relate to being able to express yourself in some way, or maybe there's a truth that you need to tell, or maybe you need to hear a truth from someone, because again, you were being urged to have some honest discussions with some people, and you were having to rely on your faith that everything was playing out exactly as it should. Some of you, again, you're hanging in limbo, you're making some unnecessary sacrifices. Some of you may be delusional, disappointed, and letting that override everything. But this may have been because you were oblivious to what was happening, and possibly because you were too self-absorbed. But many of you are gaining some spiritual wisdom. Maybe you are opening up yourself to a higher source, and you're gaining some knowledge and some inner peace because of it. Many of you may be seeking some spiritual guidance, and it may show up in various sources for you. But the underlying energy is this sense of disappointment, regret, a sense of loss. Some of you may be having relationship issues, or maybe you feel as if you've been mistreated, or there's some pessimism. You feel a sense of being let down, or there are family problems, marital problems, maybe, relationship issues again. Some of you may be actually suffering some kind of loss. Maybe something has been taken away from you, and you feel a sense of sadness about that. But this is encouraging you to try to salvage something, to remember that even though whatever has occurred in the past has happened, it's possible for you to change your perspective, to open yourself up, to move past whatever has happened. So this month, you're going to question yourself. You're going to question the decisions that you've made, the paths that you've taken, the people that you're involved with, the goals that you have in mind. And you may be struggling between what you know in your head and what you feel in your heart. But this is also reminding you to not stay in that place of pity and melancholy, to give yourself something positive to look forward to. The star is about the future and bright possibilities. You may have to open yourself up and become vulnerable and trust that there's a greater good coming towards you. So this is especially important for you to maintain this positive mindset, especially if you've been grappling with some kind of setback or some kind of disappointment. And if you do this, you will be surprised that things begin to click, to fall into place. Having this pessimistic attitude is not going to serve you. This is a time for you to realize that you may need to act. You may need to take the initiative, because the more that you expect other people to do for you, the more you'll end up having to do for yourself. So remember, expecting the worst is manifesting the worst. So you're going to have to become smarter about what you're doing, who you get involved with or re-involved with, and really evaluate the people in your life, the situations that you find yourself in, and the habits that you participate in, especially those that continue to disappoint you. But overall, there's some kind of transformation taking place for you. And that is the good part. There's an opportunity for change. You may be following some kind of a dream. For some of you, you are shedding the past. You're turning your back on some situations that have been negative for you by either choice or by force. And you may be embracing a new self-identity. Or maybe this is a time where you realize there is a need for you to make some changes. All right, Aries, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I would greatly appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, your kind comments. For those of you who have already offered your support, please know that I am eternally grateful and committed to you. Have a spectacular September, and I look forward to speaking with you next month.